Today, I'm going to take you through how I canned my pickled peppers. Throughout the growing season, which is from March to October for me, because I live in this zone 5, zone 6 gray area, I like to can something once a week, even in the off season. I don't mind canning store-bought food. I just like to can something once a week. It kind of gets me going into the growing season, and it helps me not get so overwhelmed come August, September, when the bulk of my garden harvests are coming in. So this week I decided to do some pickled peppers. We ended up going to Costco, getting some pretty big bags of peppers and onions. I had plenty of leftover, and pickled peppers just sounded really good to have on the shelf. And so that's what I decided to do. Let me show you how I did it. Now this is a ball recipe. You're gonna need peppers, onions. Then for the brine, you're gonna need crushed red pepper, vinegar, canning salt, cane sugar, and then I chose to use pickle crisp. Before I started the recipe, I put my canner on the stovetop and got it heating so the water would be boiling by the time I got to it. And I also put my jars into hot vinegar water in the sink. Now this recipe was actually quite easy to do. The first step is to chop all your vegetables. It calls for red onions and bell peppers. It actually calls to have your onions soak in ice water for 10 minutes. I skipped this step because these onions were in my fridge. I am now just chopping up my peppers into strips, and then I will set this aside. Once all your vegetables are chopped up, it's time to make your brine. You're just gonna mix your vinegar, your water, the sugar, salt, and the crushed red pepper on the stovetop and heat it up until all the sugar and salt dissolve. Now while the brine is heating up, it's time to pull those jars out of your sink and pack your jars. This recipe called for you to pack your vegetables tightly, and I have learned when it says that, they mean it. So I packed these jars pretty tightly with all these vegetables. Now by the time I was done with that, my brine was ready. It was nice and hot. All the sugar and salt had dissolved. I am just putting pickle crisp on top of each jar. It only calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon per jar. Then I will fill each jar with the brine. After the jars are filled with brine, it's time to debubble. Wipe the rims. And then put the lids on. I only had enough peppers to fill up 5 jars, so to make it a full canner's worth, I actually took red onion and yellow onion, chopped them up, and used the same brine that I just used, and I put those into the canner along with my peppers. I can with a Presto canner, which I will link down below. It's a very affordable canner. With this one, you wait until you can hear the rolling boil before you start your 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes, you're gonna let it cool off the heat for 5 minutes. Carefully lift the lid, let the steam roll away from you, and then pull your jars out. Let your jars cool completely on your countertop for at least 24 hours before checking your seals. The next day, you should be able to lift the jar up by its lid without it falling off, and the button should be down. This is an easy recipe to try. Go ahead and check out Ball's recipe for full details. Thank you so much for watching. All my links will be in the description box below, and I will see you in the next video.